Hi everyone, this is Gilli Moon, president of Songsalive, artist and songwriter myself. Welcome to another Songcraft video special. We're doing a conversation today, a great conversation. We're actually on Google Hangouts today, having a little chit chat with one of our favorite guests who has spoken at one of our workshops in LA in person, but she's here with me online today to chit chat and get to know her a little more, and it'll be awesome. Please welcome Kristin Summers.
Hi, everyone.
So, Kristin, today we're going to talk a little bit about music supervision. What I know of about you, and I'd love you to share a little bit about your background too, is that you are the music supervisor for The Talk, a TV show on CBS here in America. You want to tell us a little bit about your role and then just go back a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I am at The Talk. I've been there for about 3 years. I'm the music supervisor, aka the entire music department for the show, which is great. So I am in charge of not only choosing music that goes into the show, I deal with all the licensing, the legal aspects, really anything. I work with the bands that come on, really anything that has to do with music for the show. That's what I'm working with.
That is a super exciting job. I mean, first of all, I'd love to know, what is your typical day?
Oh my gosh, it's all over the place. Every day is different. Well, if we have a musical guest coming on, someone like, we had Elton John a couple weeks ago. Ooh. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. So if I have Elton John coming on or another musical guest, then I'm making sure that we have everything prepared when they show up, such as everything is set up correctly on the stage. If they're sponsored by any drum companies or microphone companies, making sure that we have the right sponsors there, making sure that we're playing any tracks that they're playing to, have that all set up in the audio booth, as well as licensing their music, having all the rights obtained before they show up, hopefully.
I mean, the legalities must get bogged down a little bit sometimes, huh?
Oh, yeah. I mean, music supervisors, it's a super fun job. I think people think of it as choosing music, and that's maybe 40% of the job. The other 60% is making sure no one's getting sued on the production.
So this is awesome. I mean, I'm in awe of what you do, and so appreciate you spending some time on your Saturday, no doubt, to chat with us here at Songsalive, because our songwriters and composers, would love to get to know the mind of a music supervisor and what makes them tick a little bit, because in a way, and we'll go into what that is, what it is for our writers to understand what a music supervisor does. But for those who do know what a music supervisor does, sometimes it feels intimidating. Like there's this kind of guard, or the decision maker. And here we are with our songs, and we're hoping to please the music supervisor. So as we chat today, I'd love to get your perspective on what makes the music supervisor tick.
Great. Hopefully I can.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about, how did you become a music supervisor?
Well, as a kid, I always played music. I've played everything from clarinet to guitar, piano, violin, singing. I'm all over the place. Right. So I knew I wanted to do something with music. I went to Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee, which I now actually teach a music supervision course one night a week.
Fantastic.
At the West Coast classroom. And so I went there, and I originally went for studio production, and I thought, I'm going to be a record producer. It's going to be awesome. This is everything I ever wanted. And then I realized that I can't stand being in a studio by myself for 10 hours a day. So that didn't work out, but it was an awesome experience. And then as I was, trying different jobs in the music industry, I was working on a Sirius XM show doing some music editing. And my boss said, "Hey, I've got this script for a film. Do you want to take a look? And you know a lot of music. Do you want to maybe suggest some ideas?" So I did that, and that was kind of my light bulb moment where I went, "Oh my gosh, I love this." So from there, I learned that Nashville wasn't really going to be the best place because there are no TV studios or film studios. So I came to Los Angeles, and I worked in some film music supervision. I worked on it in 2000, must have been 2005 or so, The Blind Side, Sex and the City.
Oh, wow.
Ronan. Yeah. Yeah, really great films. It was, oh my gosh, such a fun experience. And then after that, I thought, well, maybe I'll try publishing. I just kind of want to see how the other side lives. So I got into publishing, and I did that for about 3 years. And that was such a valuable experience as a music supervisor now, understanding from the artist and publisher perspective of how things work. Invaluable experience. So I was there. Learned a lot about contracts, learned a lot about working directly with artists, shaping their music for film and TV, figuring out what music supervisors outside of myself are looking for film and TV. Really great experience. And then I thought, publishing was great, but I want to get back to music supervision. So crossed back over to this side, and now I'm at the Talk, and that's kind of my path.
Wow. I mean, what's really lovely to hear, and I've heard this before with a couple of other supervisors, that you've come from a music background, and that kind of drove you obviously to be in music and now supervising music. So in your words, how would you describe a music supervisor's role? So those who don't understand what they do, it would be really helpful. And for those who may know what it is or know the term at least, can now get a kind of a succinct understanding from your experience.
Sure. Well, I would say the music supervisor's role is different in every media. And by media, I mean video games versus the Staples Center or any kind of sports arena. Those are music supervisors there. Me, I'm in TV, which is so different from my experience in film. Then there's advertising, movie trailers, and we all kind of work together a little bit, but it's interesting hearing from people that I know in my industry who are also music supervisors how different their jobs are from mine. So for my experience working in film, TV, and web content, a music supervisor is choosing music. It's finding great music, as well as great music that tells the story that your director and producer are trying to convey. And I love saying that specifically because there's so much great music in the world. And sometimes the best song just doesn't work for a project. And there's two kinds of music. There's, free-form jazz is beautiful, but maybe not always the best choice for popular film.
Right.
There's great music, and then there's movie music.
Yeah. So what would be something
as a music?
So go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to say, so it's my job to find the great music, and then from that great music, pick out the gems that really work for telling a story.
So your stakeholders, so to speak, are the producer, the editor, the director. Who are they that you need to be working with? You're finding the music for.
Sorry,
who are you finding the music for? Is it the director, the producer? Who is it?
Yeah, so for me in television, I work with about 10 producers on my TV show. So I'm catering to their taste. So for example, I know one producer doesn't like guitar. So she's never going to want music with guitars in it, no matter if it's the best perfect song, lyrically, instrumentally, she won't like it. Another producer that I report to, he likes very poppy synth kind of music. So I know that rock is not going to be his cup of tea. So where I'm at now, I mostly am fulfilling music requests for producers. Producers. I know it can be all over the place. Let me think. I know a music supervisor in video games, and she's reporting to kind of everybody. It can be graphic designers, people that are actually creating the visuals of the video game, can be a producer, sometimes a director. Sometimes I work with our director too. I would say mostly producers overall.
Got it. Good to know. And what do you think are the top let's say, 3 qualities that a music supervisor needs to have to do their job well?
Ooh, great question. Top 3. Well, I'd say number 1, be able to put aside your personal preferences. So I know what kind of music I want to listen to in the car or in the shower, but that might not be what everybody else wants to listen to when they're watching a film. So being able to objectively decide this song works for this scene, although I never want to listen to it when I'm at the gym. I think that's number 1.
Yeah. Being impartial and being able to know what they're wanting, kind of tapping into what
Exactly. Yeah. Being diplomatic and understanding that my personal music is not maybe always the best. I mean, mine is, but other people's.
Yeah. What else is important?
I would say what's really important? You mentioned having a music background, and not every music supervisor does. Actually, a lot don't, which is surprising to me. But being able to liaise between the producer or director, whoever you're working with, and the composer. And I know a lot of Songsalive members are composers. Yeah. So it's great as a music supervisor to be able to speak music terms and put those music terms into layman's terms and kind of talk back and forth, because if the composer is saying, oh, I'm going to do this in a minor key, that is so simple to us songwriters, but to a director that means nothing at all. So being able to understand what both people are saying and translate, that's really valuable.
That your music background must really help there.
Yeah, it's really great. It's so helpful in what I do.
That's awesome. Anything else?
And then, I would say have as much music, just popular music knowledge as possible. Know everything that's current and popular now, things that are maybe coming down the pike, as well as important music from the 1800s or the 60s or Africa in the 50s, as much as you can know about. I've found times where I'm in a meeting and someone will say, oh, what's that song I'm thinking of? And if I can come up with it, it just shows my worth.
Absolutely.
So knowing as much music as possible is, be a music encyclopedia.
Yeah, like an aficionado, really. Like you really need to know a lot of what's trending, but also go back and know what's going on, what happened back in the earlier times to fit the period of the show, right, or of the movie. Yeah. So we have a program at Songsalive where songwriters pitch their songs to various opportunities. It's called Song Shop, and we give them the lead, but we don't give them too much of how to prepare or to pitch their music. And I would love to get your opinion on best practices on how one should either submit a song to a lead that they know that people are looking, or even if they wanted to just reach out and find people. What are some of your best practices?
I would say the way that I most like to receive music, especially from new artists, someone I don't have a rapport with already, is I really like to, and there are two sides to this coin. I know supervisors that think opposite of me on this, but I personally like to see your diversity as a songwriter. So in the original submission, I would want to see 5 to 10 songs. Maybe and if you have the ability to write, country and EDM and Spanish music, then I would like to see all that. And then I can figure out, hey, maybe you can be my go-to for Spanish music. However, I know I'm only half of the music supervision population when I say that. I know a lot of supervisors like to see what are your strengths rather than what's the span of what you can do. So I think even before how do I send this cold email, figuring out a way, this is true with so much in life, but having a relationship with a music supervisor before you reach out can be really valuable. And my hint to everybody is talk to their assistants, talk to their coordinators, because they don't get to talk to anybody. So they're really excited when they get a phone call or a music composer or songwriter stuck to them. Oh my gosh, you just made their day. And they are the gatekeeper that you were talking about. They're usually the person that's listening to all the music and saying, hey boss, here's what I found this week. You should look at these artists. So that's my little tip for everybody is get in through the assistants and the music coordinators. I don't have one, unfortunately.
Straight to you.
Straight
to you, yeah.
Straight to you. Straight to me.
Great. Okay. So you don't have an assistant. You basically represent the music yourself. Like you're in touch with artists yourself.
Yes. On my TV show that I'm on right now, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of opportunity for third-party music unless they're giant artists. CBS is very smart, and they own a lot of music, so that's usually what I use because it's free. But yeah, so for that reason, I don't need an assistant.
Got it. Fair enough. So what makes a song, and this is actually a question that you proposed to me that we could discuss, so it's really cool. What does make a song sync friendly?
Yes, I love this question. Well, my go-to answer is something that's, okay, I listen to your song and I walk away, what am I singing? I want to be singing something. I want something to stick in my head. So if that's being repetitive or having a really interesting hook, something that will tell me what the song is. In the hook, I'd like to hear what the song is about just in one quick mention. And something, and then something I'm walking away thinking, oh, I've got this song in my head. Oh my gosh, I have this scene that song is perfect for. So that's however a songwriter can decide that that's the best way to do it, but get it stuck in my head.
So many songs are just wordy and they take a long time to get to the hook. I mean, you kind of want the hook to represent the story straight away, right?
Yes, absolutely. Simple and repetition. Like you said, taking a long time to get to the hook. I know in other jobs that I've had, if I have to be, okay, where's the song picking up? This instrumental intro has gone on for a minute now. I might be, okay, I've got a deadline. I've got to get to something. And if I can't find your hook, if I can't get to the meat and potatoes of the song quickly, it may be a reason for me to hit skip.
Yeah, we spend a lot of time, obviously, on song structure here at Songsalive. And I wrote a book recently called The 360-Degree Songwriter, which is kind of a recipe book of how to write like a hit song. But I mean, one of the ingredients that I studied about for a long time, which is really listening to folks like yourself, is cutting to the chase, is getting to the hook quickly and not taking us on this long journey, and also that the hook needs to really translate the theme of the song. Yeah. So what are some of the other little secrets that we can put in our toolkit in order to, when we're pitching to you, not only and it can be either the writing of it or it could be like just the business side of it. Anything you want to share, like tips and tools?
Well, writing wise, I would make your songs as versatile as possible. And what I mean by that is staying away from songs with names. So if you name your ex-girlfriend Lucy, okay, well, unless I have a scene about Lucy, that song's out. Generally, not always. So names are bad. Instead of saying something like he or she did this, you could say they, because now there's no gender specific to the song. So making your song as available to as many different scenes, if that's what you're going for, as possible is really valuable in the songwriting aspect. As well as talking about hooks again, generic themes like I love you. Okay, that could be for a car or a dog or a piece of chicken or a friend. It could fit a lot of places.
I'm sorry, I just don't eat chicken, but okay.
Okay. Tofu, how about that? I love it too. So, broad themes. Just give me 5 scenes that your song can work in. That's my tip for songwriting.
That's fantastic.
As far as the business, Yeah, good. Thank you. As far as the business end goes, making relationships, I know it's like, it sounds kind of like a cop-out answer, but I have a good friend, and anytime he sends me music, it's at the top of my list. I might not listen to it as quickly as they would always like, but it's at the top. If I'm getting, I mean, even now when I don't have a lot of opportunity for third-party music, I'm still sent, I don't know, 50 songs a day by people I've never heard of. And I probably won't listen because there's just so much that won't work for me. And to spend so much time listening to 3-minute songs and 50 of them in a day, I'm just not going to get my real work done. So to have someone I trust either recommend you, or I know you and I want to hear your music because I know what you can do, it's rockets you to the top of any music supervisor's lists. And there are tons of networking events. There are tons of radio shows and podcasts and events. If you're not in Los Angeles, I can't speak for everybody, but I know in Los Angeles, at least, you have a little bit of an advantage because a lot of us are here, and you can call us or take us to coffee.
Really?
I love meeting with artists. People. Oh yeah, I love that. If people call me and
I think
if people even
no, I was just going to say, there's such a misnomer that, you know, this is, again, it's like, there's this kind of, sometimes we feel like it's a barrier, like it's they and us, it's them and us.
Yeah.
Like we, you know, the elusive music supervisor or the music publisher or the director, whatever, it's like they're, it's like, or even if you're an actor, you know, you're on audition going for a job, it's like, sometimes you feel like we can't approach them. And it's I want to demystify that.
Yeah, I mean, we're just people. And like I said, maybe, you know, the top music supervisors, like, well, I don't want to call anybody out, but there are people that are definitely more busy than others and maybe less available than others. But those are the people you can get to through their assistants. Yeah. And you know, me, I like meeting. I love helping. Like, I love this organization. I love Songsalive. I work with a couple others. Like, I just love, like you're saying, breaking down that barrier or that wall. I really want to help you guys. And I love music and I love playing music, and I get from my side how hard it is to get your music out there. So yeah, call us or email. Hey, the worst that happens is they don't return your phone call or your email, and that's that. Or they do, and you got it in. And I love coffee.
Yeah.
I love lunch.
That's great. Well, I would always encourage any of our members who do want to contact someone like yourself to do their research and know what they're looking for, and obviously only present yourself and songs that are ready. I find, you know, we also work with songwriters who are a work in progress. They're rough diamonds, and that's great too, because that's why they come to our workshops and they learn. And then we have amazing hit writers that have been hit writers and are part of the organization. And, you know, we want to open the barriers for them. But I think, you know, we always want to know what's the best way to go about that, you know, and do it in a tasteful business way.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're totally right. Have your music as ready as you plan on having it be. If it can be, here it is, it's ready to go today, you can have it in your TV show tomorrow, that's awesome. If you're giving me a demo, well, okay, I'm going to have to listen to a couple rounds of it being finished. And honestly, we don't have time for that.
So, and on that note,
yeah,
a good question. So what is finished for TV? And it might seem simple for you and even for me, because I know the answer too, but just for our audience, what is finished? What is ready for TV?
If you can have your music mixed and mastered before it's handed off to me, that's the best. If you don't plan on mastering your music, not everybody does and not everybody has to, then that's great too. You can look up, the term that I use is broadcast quality, and you can do a Google search on that if you want specific specs tech-wise, but that's not really necessary for me. I use music at all different specs, but as long as it's as finished as you plan on having it before you put it out into the world.
And is that insofar, is it MP3? Is it a WAV file? Is it AIFF? Do you want a CD? Do you want a cassette tape? Do you want vinyl? What do you want?
Vinyl.
I thought Throw that out
Well,
there.
it's funny. I did have someone when I was at the publishing company submit a cassette tape, and I said, "What am I supposed to do with this?"
They're coming. It's a big comeback, by the way.
Oh, yeah, it's been now. Well, okay, actually, that's a really good question, and I'll tell you the do's and don'ts. Do send me a link. Do send me a Dropbox or Box.com or a SoundCloud link where I can listen to your music. If you can give me something where I can stream and download from a link, that's the best. Don't send me attachments. If you clog up my email, you've been blacklisted, and that is terrible. Don't send me MP3s and your attachments. That's a no-no. But as far as files go, the best quality you can give me, the better. I mean, waves are the best for me. They're also bigger. So, if you can send me an MP3 because it might be more convenient for whatever you're doing, but you have a higher quality. Yeah, then that's fine too.
But at the end of the day, do you work
no
with
attachment.
WAV files and AIFFs?
Generally, yes. If they're not available for my TV show, because we have a live audience, so there's a lot of screaming and clapping happening, we can get away with using MP3s. But for scripted shows and definitely film, then they'll want the highest quality available. Like you said, waves, AIFs.
Okay. So what I heard, and for our listeners at home, is that you want the highest, obviously highest produced, the best written song that you've got. That's catchy, hooky, best produced, mixed, so it's finished, hopefully mastered. I always like to do that. I understand the different EQ, so I think that's good. You're saying not necessarily. That to solicit to you a Dropbox or a SoundCloud where you can listen, stream, but then you've got the capability of downloading yourself.
That's the best.
And the biggest no-no is no attachments to an email. Got it.
Exactly. Good summary.
Fabulous. Well, I think you've given us some great tips and tools. Are there any things that you would like to share with us just on your philosophy about the business? Anything you'd like to kind of, or where you'd like it to go, or how your ideal world is, or do you want to save the rainforests and world peace, or what just a little bit of what you want to share?
Yeah, I love hearing artist stories and their struggles, their accomplishments, and I think the biggest misconception that I hear is I want to make money from this. That's
We do too.
I'm going down such a sad path. You have to love what you do. Love it. That's number one. If you love it, you're making good music. If you're making good music, I'll hear it and want to. Don't make
by the way,
mindset.
And because as our audience will know, this is not a perfect signal. So I just want to, and thanks everyone for watching. We haven't had a perfect lip sync. Lip sync's been a little out. But I just wanted to just apologize to everyone for that. But let's start again because you were on such a great note then.
Oh, sure. So make music because you love it. Don't make it to make money, because we will hear that. And we want great music. We want music with passion and emotion and your love and your heart and soul in it, not what you think I want to hear. That's my biggest piece of advice I can give. The money will come if the music is great.
That is so, so beautiful. The money will come, the music is great, and we follow our passion. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
You're speaking my speak. You're talking my talk. Talking my talk.
Tattooed on ourselves as musicians.
Yeah. Great, Kristin. It's been really a pleasure to talk with you today. I guess the big question for all of us is: are you looking for music right now? And if so, what kinds of music, and keep it generic because people might watch this in the next couple of months too. It may not be just immediately. Like, what kinds in general would you be looking for, and how would we reach you?
Sure. Like I said, unfortunately, in the project I'm in now, don't use a lot of music. The one thing I do search for every once in a while, maybe once every 3 or 4 months, it comes up, is covers. I like covers, and that's I don't have in my library. So that's unfortunately for me right now the only thing that I go to outside of my CBS library.
Oh, well, that sounds great, and I think that's awesome that you're always open to talking with songwriters and meeting us, and keeping the relationship and the channels open. We can't wait to have you in person at one of our workshops,
Yeah.
and just
I
yeah.
have to tell you, I spoke at the OC chapter and the LA chapter. The LA chapter, once or twice, I can't remember. I think it was just once. But I met someone, a girl there, great singer-songwriter, and that must have been, maybe 2014 or 15. And I've hooked her up with a couple of producers, writers, singers. She's done a lot of work, and I really believe in her, as well as we've become good friends. So thank you to Songsalive for that.
That is fantastic. I love when that happens. I love that when it happens. See, you never know what happens when you're at a workshop or part of our programs, and who you're going to meet, and who that's going to end up, that whole trajectory of meeting someone else and meet someone else, and that's the industry. So it's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any final things you just want to share with us? Let's you have the microphone.
Well, we're not that scary. We're very approachable and hopefully nice people. Everybody, but please contact me if you guys ever want any advice or there's something I can do for you. I'm here. I love to help. Songsalive has been nothing but amazing in my experience, and just keep writing.
That's awesome. Thank you, Kristin. Please thank Kristin Summers for being with us today, all in our living rooms and watching. Applause, applause, applause.
Well, thanks for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. For the folks of you that are watching, please check out our program Song Shop. It's in the backstage at songsalive.net, which is the backstage, and keep an eye out for any leads that Kristin Summers is pitching, is giving us for you to pitch to. So keep an eye out for her. We'll be in touch with her closely as to what she needs, and other music supervisors from different shows and different films. Take a look there. We post there weekly. And we'll see you again soon, Kristin. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I've been drinking tea the whole way, so nice to have a cup of tea with you.
There you go. I had water, so cheers.
Cheers. All right, thanks everyone. I'm Gilli Moon, president of Songsalive. We'll see you next on the next Songcraft video series. Ciao for now.